It's December. Anyway, it's December for me. Might be December for you when you watch this, might not be. But it's December. It means that it's the end of the year. And at the end of the year, most crafters, including me, take this time to kind of reflect on our crafting situation. So before I pressed record, I went to get my work in progress, the ones that I have on my needles right now. And I found more than I thought I had, always. So we're going to talk about them. What's on my needles right now, what am I working on, and what I can expect or hope to finish by the end of the year, because I like to start the year with somewhat of a clear needle situation. I'm not expecting to be done with everything because that's just silly. But I'm going to try and finish what I can finish before starting other things, which I'm already like planning on starting new things like right now as we speak. So that's silly, but you know, whatever. Let's talk about it. So the first thing that is on my needles that I'm expecting to finish is, the first one I want to finish is this one. It's actually my latest work in progress. Obviously, it's always the one that you started recently that you want to finish first. And it's this little tube of linen stitch that I absolutely am having so much fun knitting. I cast it on a certain number of stitch thinking it was going to be a hat. But now that I've been knitting on it for a little while, I think it's going to be a bag. It doesn't have a pattern. I'm on a mission to use as much of what I have at my house as possible. And it means trying to find creative ways to use scraps, minis, things like that. I know that around Christmas time, we all have a lot of minis because people buy advent calendars. And sometimes you have a project for it, sometimes you don't. These minis are actually not advent calendar minis. They are row one yarn. If there'll be a link in the description, because row one yarn was really nice and sent me some free packages. They are a company that every month they send you 100 grams of minis. So it's all 10-gram minis, generally fingering weight yarn. And it is a collection catered by a certain hand dyer. So every month it's a different hand dyer and you get a bunch of little minis packaged like this. Let me go get more. I found my other row one yarn, and while I was looking for it, I also found another work in progress. Haha. Okay, so let's get back to the subject. Here is what a row one yarn package looks like. It comes. My dog decided it was the right time to have his lunch. So yeah, they come in a nice little brown bag, row one yarn, and there is all the information on the actual dyer, where they're from, etc., and all the colorways and everything. But they come all well packaged like this, which is awesome. 10 grams each is not a lot. A lot of the mini advent calendar things are for 20-gram minis. So I was trying to figure out a way to use up those minis, and that's why I'm coming back around to this. So linen stitch is a really great way to put colorways together, because I'm just basically changing color whenever I feel like it, and I'm doing linen stitch in the round on an odd number of stitches, which makes it so I don't ever have to stop doing knit one, slip one with yarn in front, knit one, slip one with yarn in front, all the way through. I do 2 rows of that, and then I switch to the next color, and I keep going. So I think I'm going to keep going until this pack. So that's what I have left of this pack. I think what I'll do is add this color in, and when I'm done, I'll sew the bottom up somehow. I haven't thought about that yet, and make a strap using this. Could be a nice bucket bag too, like you could just flip it over and like pop it onto a table. I think it would look cool. The reason why I'm saying this could make a great hat is linen stitch is really thick and sturdy. Someone said it on one of my videos and I was like, you're right, it is very sturdy. It doesn't have a lot of stretch and it doesn't create holes, so you could put a lot of things, small things in there without losing them. I'm double stranding, so I'm holding 2 strands at a time and I'm using size 4.5 millimeter needles. So that's a project I want to finish. I think it should be easy. The straps I think I'm going to make using Tunisian crochet stitch to make it really sturdy. So that is going to be done when I'm done knitting this. Achievable. But then I have all of these and I think I kind of want to make a linen stitch scarf, but like the long way. That's a subject for another day. Okay, so I want to finish that. Done. Then I have, stay there. I have this gorgeous green cardigan, which is the Traveler Shell by Andrea Mowry. And it's coming along really well. Like this is the bottom band that took forever to make because it's on such tiny little needles. And then this is, all the front is made. The front up to the shoulders, it is a drop shoulder construction. So the front is made. The back is, I think, a few rows away from having to do the shaping. I think there's going to be shaping for the shoulders. There was shaping for the shoulders on the front, so I'm guessing the back too. So the back is getting there. And then what's left to do is going to be doing the ribbing along all the front, and it goes, you start at the bottom, you pick up, you go all along the neck and then in the front, and I'll have to do a good ribbing there for the band, and then ribbing along the armholes in order to create a vest. So it's going to be like a little bit like this, drop shoulder style here, except that instead of having a sleeve, it's just going to be ribbing. I would love to finish this before the end of the year. It's knit on size 3.5 needles, which is my favorite size to knit any kind of garment. And I'm using this beautiful, it's called, the base is called Fluffy by Entre Sœurs et Laine. I know it is French. Go in the description box. There'll be all the info there. But it is basically a alpaca merino cotton base. Fluffy, but not, it doesn't shed as much as mohair does or Suri alpaca. And it's knit on its own. So it's one strand of this beautiful wool. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this as far as the fabric it's creating. So I'm really hoping to finish it soon. Speaking of the Traveler pattern by Andrea Mowry, I do have another Traveler item on my needles, and that one I'm not gonna finish this year. But I'm so sad. I'm so sad that I did what I did because I was completely silly and I casted on a sweater. This is a Traveler hoodie, which is the first one she came up with in her Traveler series, let's call it. Andrea Mowry, if you know her, she does that. She kind of discovers one stitch in particular, and then she puts out a pattern using that stitch in every shape possible, like a sweater, a cardigan, a shawl, a cowl, a hat, etc. Which is a great way to do things because when people love a certain stitch, they'll want to knit it multiple times. So I'm knitting the Traveler hoodie, which is started from the bottom up again. And same thing, like pretty sure I finished the front, yeah. So see, it's been so long I don't even remember. So this is the front. There's some shoulder shaping, and the front is attached on this one, obviously, because it's a sweater. It's not a cardigan. And then I'm at the back. I'm in basically the same place, except this one is much shorter. I'm hoping it grows quite a bit when I wash it. I did do a swatch, and my swatch was fine, so it should be fine. But the reason why I'm stalled on that one, I'm gonna keep being stalled for a little while, is that I'm using this yarn here that I'm using, which is the base color, is a gorgeous, amazing, beautiful handspun yarn. Do I have enough of the fiber? Absolutely. I bought a ton of this fiber. I bought a big bag at a really good price because it's it's not dyed, and it was in this pencil roving form. So I've been spinning it on my spinning wheel. And I started the sweater before I was done spinning the yarn because I was so excited. And I'm holding it with this beautiful pale blue mohair and this gorgeous Make It Tweed rainbow. So Make It Tweed is a yarn by Rico Designs, and it is 100% synthetic. It's very, very thin. Like the thread itself is as thin as a mohair, so it doesn't change the gauge of whatever you're knitting, but it adds those little blips of color. This one is a rainbow one, but there's some that have only neon pink or neon green or other colors. So that's what's making this kind of neutral, you know, not crazy interesting yarn. Like, it is interesting, but I'm not that much of a neutral person. If you don't know that about me, go check out my Why Petite Knit video. I'm talking about neutrals and how I'm not a neutrals person. So the fact that this yarn was, it feels amazing, but it's neutral, paired with those two makes it so much more fun. But I have to spin it. And somehow in the last year and a half, maybe, I've kind of fell off the spinning wheel. I was spinning a whole lot for a while, and I don't know, right now my head is not in that space. My head is in the knitting space, and I haven't been spinning much. So this is definitely on hold for that reason. When will I have the urge to spin again? I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm going to want to finish this sweater. I would love, love, love. I saw someone yesterday. I had a knit night, and one of the women that was there knitting with us was wearing hers, her traveler hoodie. And it was so beautiful, and she looked so comfy. So I maybe that's the push I need to like get going on knitting mine. So I have to sit down on my wheel. What is my hair doing? Whatever. I have to sit down on my wheel. That's what I have to do. But in the meantime, I went shopping and I saw this yarn that I had to buy. I had to buy it right away, and right away I knew what I was making. Like I saw it. I said, that's it. I'm buying this, and I'm making it for Christmas. So I kind of have no choice but to finish it before Christmas because I want this to be my Christmas sweater. Isn't it beautiful? So what you cannot really see, well, you can see it here a little bit, is it has sparkles in the yarn. This is the Instant Crush by Joji Locatelli, and these colors were speaking to me as like winter wonderland color scheme. The yarn is the Anatolia Étoile by Julie Asselin. Julie Asselin, her Anatolia base is her basic mohair silk. So it's a lace weight mohair silk. This one, the Anatolia Étoile, has double strand of mohair silk plus a lurex, I think it's lurex, thread running throughout, which creates this beautiful sparkly magic. Étoile in French means stars. So these are my three colors. And the Instant Crush, originally Joji designed for 2 strands of mohair held together. So I took just one strand of this to create that. It's perfect. You can tell where I already steam blocked the top of my sweater because I was scared that when I started knitting it, I could tell that my row gauge was probably shorter. I did not do a swatch. I didn't. I lived dangerously on this one because I saw it in the shop. I bought it. I came home. I had to cast it on now. And one thing that I was worried about is that those are 25-gram balls. And I'm making size 2. And Hohi says to knit it at like a no ease. So the size 2 is literally no ease for me. 0 ease. No positive, no negative. And on the recommended amount of yarn, I have just enough. Literally just enough. I bought 2 skeins of the main color and 1 skein of every other one. And so I didn't want to swatch because I was scared of one, having to unravel my swatch and use it in my sweater, which is never fun with mohair. And I just wanted to start. Because technically, designers are supposed to put the quantity for a swatch in the quantity for the sweater. That should be everyone's way of doing things. But I'm still a little stressed out that I'm going to miss out. So I started knitting. At a certain point, a friend of mine said, oh, I made it. Mine is too shallow in the yoke. So I got a little scared. I changed my size needle for one size bigger because measuring it directly on my sweater, I thought I could go for a size bigger, I think, or else I'm gonna also have a too shallow of a yoke. I'm using size 4.5 millimeters. And then when I was done with the yoke, I steam blocked it with my steamer just to see what it would look like. And look at how pretty those stitches become when you steam them compared to the non-steamed sweater. And I did do probably 6 more rows than what the pattern asks for before splitting for the body. I still have a little ways to go in the body and then the sleeves. I might start knitting the sleeves before I'm done knitting the body to make sure that I use the maximum amount of my yarn. But I would really, really, really love to finish this so I can wear it. My Christmas parties with my family this year are a little late. So because we're not doing it on Christmas but more around New Year, it's giving me a little bit more time to work on it. I think I can do it. What else? Oh, this first. Well, I did find this. I don't know if I can even consider this a WIP. Like, come on. It's just that I have this skein of yarn here. That's a MCN, so merino cashmere nylon from Bleu Poussière in the colorway. I think it's Moomin's Fall in Love. I think. It's gorgeous. I love it. I don't want to make socks with MCN because it's too precious to be on my feet. But what it's not too precious to be on is my torso. And so I'm making another ripple bralette, which I already have 2 of, and I wear them a lot. I wear my 2 ripple bralettes a lot, so I am always wanting another one. The only thing is it's in 3/3 rib, so it's kind of a process to knit, and it's on small needles. So I casted it on thinking that was going to be my, walking project, whatever, bringing with me everywhere. And then I don't know what, I haven't been. So I need to put that back on needles because as you can tell, it's on barber cord. It's on holder because I had to use the needles for something else. I need to put it back on my needle and get going with that because literally I want more of the finished product. I do. I wear them all the time. So come on, Chloe, just put it on your needle and knit it. Thank you, Jefferson. Where's oh, he's on the couch. Look at him. He's right there. We haven't put anything on our Christmas tree yet. Okay. Another thing that I need to finish, and sooner rather than later, because it is December in Quebec, so it's cold. It's getting cold. We had a first tiny little bit of snow yesterday. Is the friend for this one. This is a Thrummed mitten. It's a pattern I made myself for a class that I taught on Thrummed mittens. What is Thrummed mittens, you might ask if you've never seen any. It looks like this on the inside. So it is super warm, full of woolly wool on the inside, so you can have thick, warm covering for your hands, because my hands are always cold. I did have a daughter of mine who put it on and said, "Mommy, is it for me?" And I was like, "Oh, not really, but maybe she'll claim it. I don't know." So it looks like this. I have another one started right here. And I taught this class in August. I haven't touched it since then. So it's really time to just pick it up and keep going. I have a cuff and one row of thrumming, which you can't really see much because it's the very pale pastel color. I decided to not start at the same color just for fun. My thrums, a lot of my thrums are, no, not a lot, but some of my thrums are already made, which is just basically a little bit of yarn like this put in little figure eights. But I haven't actually made all of it yet. There's tons of yarn that's still just you know, like that. I have a bunch of wool just waiting to be thrummed. All the wool that I use for those is wool from Knit Picks. This is the this is like just a basic. I think it's similar to the base of Wool of the Andes, but it is an undyed wool without any superwash treatment. And all of this is the fiber that they have. It is I believe the Wool of the Andes fiber that hasn't been spun. So I took a bunch of different colors to make this. So I have to finish that. That takes no time at all once the thrums are made. The longest part of this process is making the thrums. So I should just get to it before my little hands freeze. Wink. And is it last but not least? Oh, no, I have one more. Socks. I always have socks on my needle. So I don't think that I can necessarily say that socks have to be finished by the end of the year, because when I finish a pair of socks, I start another one. This one in particular, I started bottom toe up, which is not necessarily what I do most of the time, but the reason I did it is because I have a very small amount and I want to make sure that I have enough. So I'm going to knit the two at a time from each side of my ball of yarn, which assures me that I get to finish all the yarn, right? I can knit it as tall as I possibly can. This is not a commercial yarn. Someone, a viewer, was really nice enough to send me some Handspun sock yarn so I can test the longevity of the sock yarn. So I really should get going with those so I can actually wear them and test how long they will last, because I am known for wearing through my socks really easily. So this viewer was so nice to send me Handspun yarn to test, and I'll get back to you on that. And the last thing is this. I started it for a video that I haven't posted. If you're interested in seeing my my venture into Tunisian crochet, let me know, because if you're interested, I might finish the video and post it. So I tried Tunisian crochet for the first time, and I used a free tutorial online by TL Yarn Crafts. And this is how it's looking for now. It's called the Lamia wrap. And I'm using a bunch of odds and ends of Nutiden, which is it's not well, it's mine because I bought it, but Nutiden is, what's that? Nothing. Okay. Nutiden is unspun wool. I have a bunch of different colors. I had a moment in my life where I was probably overbuying Nutiden yarn because it is a very special, unique, all their colorways are unique. They never come out with them again. And I had a moment where I was just purchasing a lot. And I have a lot of leftovers from knitting sweaters and shawls. So I'm just kind of picking up one and I'm marling it. So I'm holding the color double at all times. And there's two different stitches, this one and this one. This one is the Tunisian simple stitch, I believe. And this one is maybe the honeycomb stitch, but I'm not sure. Don't take my word for it. And I mean, it's gonna make an amazing shawl because it's very thick and it's gonna be super comfy. I just have to keep doing it. It's just that I don't bring this one around with me at all, not because it's Tunisian crochet, but because it is Nutiden, and Nutiden breaks a lot all the time, which at home I don't mind because when Nutiden breaks, I just felt it back together, which is easy enough. But if I'm walking around or standing somewhere, it's more managing that I care to do in that setting. So I keep it at home, which means that I work on it less. I'm not gonna bring it to my Monday knit night or whatever. But I'm enjoying Tunisian crochet. It's fun. I don't know that it's gonna become my thing, but I like it. So that's a fun discovery for this year. Maybe I would make a Tunisian crochet blanket. I say that, but then I have I do have a granny square blanket that I haven't finished that I started years ago. But that's a multi-year project. Like the only reason why I haven't finished it actually is because I have to buy some yarn for the main color. I ran out of my main color and it's a very particular like brand that I have to order online, but I don't want to pay for shipping. So I'm waiting to need more yarn in order to make an order and up. You know what I mean? But it's a blanket. I feel like socks and blankets don't count because socks are always on my needle and blankets are never finished. Do that make sense? So that's it. That's my wrap up. It's not that bad, is it? I mean, I could have way more WIPs than that. I could. I don't, but I could. I'm not counting socks that only have one of the pair done. If they're not on my needles, I'm not counting them. That's it. So yeah, that's all there is. I'm thinking, tell me if that's something that would interest you. I would like to maybe hold myself accountable for one video a month in 2025 where I talk about like stash busting. I do love watching people do a stash busting video, meaning like kind of keeping track of how much yarn they used. Not in a way where it would, shame me into like, you can't buy more yarn or whatever like that. It's my job. I'm going to have more yarn coming in for sure. But I'd love to have some sort of idea of how much I use in a year. But I need motivation because if I only do it myself without holding myself accountable with like a series of video, then I'll just give up. I know myself. So do you think you can hold me accountable and keep me on track and me making a video each month about how much yarn I've used up in that month? Let me know. That being said, I'm going to go back to knitting and crocheting because like they're all in front of me right now and I want to work on all of them. So maybe I'm putting myself a timer and I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 projects that are active. I'm not counting the one about spinning. So if I work 10 minutes per project every day, that means an hour a day of knitting. That's acceptable. I can absolutely do that. And maybe it can bring all my projects to the finish line. Maybe. I'll keep you posted. Tell me what you think in the comments. Am I going to get to finish all those? Yes, no, maybe? Let me know. Merry holidays? No, that's not how you say it. Happy holidays. Happy holiday season to everyone. I hope you're having a great time watching other Vlogmas. I'm going to try and make a video every week during December, just because why not? And that's it. Bye. Happy knitting, crocheting, whatever.